Lights are off and we are underway, and I just think I saw a little bit of a twitch there from Jean-Francois Gadin just before the lights here on the start into turn number 1. Kerry Nolan's got a stormer there, and all this contact, and cars flying left and right as they head themselves to 130 out for the first time side by side. Oh my word, you can see Nienhouse running wide as they go 2 by 2 down onto the brakes into the Casio triangle for the first time, and already you can see just how close it's going to be. As you can see, there's contact between the two, and round goes Nienhouse and Kerry Nolan as well.
Reed now passing Andy Cowie for third, and Kerry Nolan's going to go from bad to worse with a huge slide. He's got damage. You can see how easily Midner streams past there, so Koch might actually be struggling. Ooh, and Takash moves before Reed. This could be very interesting, and Reed moves very fast out of the box there.
In comes Phil Reed, so there is a penalty there. Michael Mittner, one more corner for the Austrian, who picks up his second race win of the season. And what a race win at Suzuka. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Championship Season 1, Round 10. 3 to go, and we head ourselves to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We are here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for what will be a fantastic 36 laps and 13-turn circuit here. Jake Sparey, not alone. Everyone's favourite commentator, it's Fisi.
Thanks, Jake. Hello, everyone, again. Back with another race. Only 3 rounds to go in this season, and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, one of my favourite tracks in the world, I have to say. Provides some great opportunities for battling, and also very unforgiving with the walls very, very close. So really looking forward to how the drivers cope.
Yes, most certainly look out for that wall of champions. It's going to be so crucial later on, because the wall of champions has pretty much hit a champion in Formula 1. We'll see if it will in AOR. But Drivers' Championship at the moment, homeboy hero Jean-Francois Gadin right now has the lead in that over Michael Mittner. But enough about the championship. Let's head over to your qualifying report. The Godfather puts himself on pole position, then Kerry Nolan for Aperture Motorsport, a 1:33.466, a full tenth faster than anybody else in the field. He's joined alongside him by Gunnar Nienhouse in the Carbon Racing outlet there, and he's done a fantastic job once again to put his car in the front row. Phil Reed, the second of the Aperture Motorsport cars, he puts himself up in third with a time 2/10 slower than his teammate, with the hometown hero and championship leader Jean-Francois Gadin alongside 4/10 off the pace. Michael Mittner for LM Rennsports on row 3, joined with Christian Takash, with row 4 being Christian Koch of Zephyr Racing and René Osterkamp of Hydroforce Racing. Row 5 sees Andy Cowie, the second of the LM Rennsport cars, joined with Janik Nienhouse, second of the Carbon Racing cars. As we move on to the second page, Lorenda Reich for Rich Racing, very good qualifying for him. Frederick Johansson, last of the cars inside of 1 second. Ty McLeod does a fantastic job there in 13th, with Richard Grimley making a stellar qualifying by his standards. He puts himself up on row number 7. Second of the Team Tortoise cars, Evan Imre, puts himself on row 8. He's joined by the Swiss superstar Patrick Kessler. Row 9 sees Leanne Robinson and Knut Martinsen surprisingly down the order, with Luke White and Chris Robinson rounding out the top 20. 29 drivers here today, with Christoph Leister there joined alongside by Bruno Domter in the TDT outlet. There with Steve Kagerer in North Atlantic Racing colours, joined by the long-lost cousin of Manuel Neuer, it's Manuel Hoyer in 24th. Row 13 sees Nigel Spears and Robert Plumley, with Lionel Alberto 27th and Vittorio Saltalamacchia last of the cars to set a time in 28th. Last of the drivers on the grid, though, is Jamie Coldham in the Force Fisi team. Welcome to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. You can see right now here on the right-hand side of your screen is Kerry Nolan here. He's got the inside line to turn 1. Does not have the tarmac that he needs. Lights are on here on top of the iRacing gantry, and we will be in just 1 moment's time underway. Lights here gone, and it's a slow start at the back, but they're all going to file themselves cleanly here at Montreal down towards turn number 1. Looking here further back in the field, you can see Richard Grimley already under threat, and Nienhouse actually loses the position there off the line there to what is Phil Reed, and now it's Aperture 1-2 at the front, but looking further behind, Dometer span around, contact with the North Atlantic car there, didn't quite catch who that was, but already on the opening starts, they head through 3 and 4, and now heading towards 5, 6 as well. You can see right now just how important it is to get a great start, because Kerry Nolan out and away here, Fisi.
Yeah, a fantastic start from the Aperture boys. Exactly what they would have wanted, with Nienhuis a little bit under pressure from Godin now, as Martinsen makes a move down in 17th place on Patrick Kessler. Just going back to the start, I think one of the North Atlantic cars might have actually jumped the start. I saw one move at the back of the field before the lights went out. Not quite sure which one of them it was, and I think it might have been the long lost cousin of Neuer, Mr. Hoyer, tapping odometer around at turn 2.
Yes, not ideal at all. They could see Richard Grimley then losing out one position and possibly could lose even more. Christian Koch here for Zephyr Racing, looking around the outside of Michael Mittner, down at the hairpin here. And well, he's going to try and have a go. No, doesn't quite happen. But now you've got this incredibly long back straightaway, which is so important. The run towards that final chicane is so crucial. And the final chicane itself is so crucial in its own right. You can see side by side down the casino straight as they head themselves now down towards this final chicane into the right left. They can see the camera here mounted on the wall of champions, and you can see Michael Mittner losing out on that position here as they make the run to the line. It's Nolden, it's going to be Nienhuis in third with Phil Reed second there as I get myself a little bit mixed medal up. Godin having a look, but it's not quite happening at the moment just yet here, Fizzy.
Yeah, Nienhuis doing a good job there to leave him space on the inside of turn 1, and I have to say, a brilliant move from Koch as well around the outside into the chicane. That's a very daring place to try and have a battle through that very tight chicane at the end of the lap as we now fall through the first sector with the walls very close. It's such a challenge to drive this circuit, but also a very fun challenge as well, which I'm sure these drivers are really enjoying. But very competitive start to this race, everyone very close together at the front.
Yes, most certainly looking here at Michael Mittner, and well, the thing about this circuit, it is very understated, the fact that it's actually a street circuit, so you see just how difficult it is sometimes here down the Pont de la Concorde, meaning it's the Concorde Bridge. They just passed under now as they head into the 8-9 chicane here. Turns 8 and turn 9, looking at René Osterkamp in that 129 Hydroforce racing machine right now, looking behind the red devolution of Christian Takash right now. You can see the cars just all in a line at the moment, just no one's really had the chance to break away except the leader. Jannik Nienhuis looks to the inside, and there is contact, and turn around. There, I believe, is Andy Cowie as well, and that's not ideal as they'll both fall down the order and drop many crucial positions here, Fizzy.
They did indeed. I think Cowie and Jannik Nienhuis starting 9th and 10th on the grid respectively, dropping several positions down from that now as Martinsen tries to grab position. I think Kessler is trying to get past Cowie as well, but Cowie is just about going to hold on to that one as everyone files into a single file for the chicane, which is a smart thing to do if you want to carry the speed around there. Fastest lap on lap 2 for Kerry Nolden, who is looking good so far in the lead of this race.
Yes, he is. 1:34.1 then says he's the fastest right now. Still looking at René Osterkamp on the back of Christian Takash right now here, the Norwegian driver here as they head themselves in towards turn 3 and 4. Down the hill you come along, and then you're trying to gear it up as quickly as you can. Don't run too wide on the curb. It does have the tendency to spin you out just that tad, and now you can see through the right-hander, now into this left-right chicane that comes along. Try and use as much curb as you can on the left-hand side into the right. You can see lovely amount of curve used by René Osterkamp, but he just doesn't have enough top end to catch to Christian Takash, who is right on the back of Michael Mittner right now in the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th on circuit at the moment, into the right left. And what has to be said right now is René Osterkamp's been calm, he's been consistent, but now he's got to start making places one at a time if he wants to get a great result from this one, Fizzy.
Yeah, it really does. Here we can see Kerry Nolden and Phil Reed, two Aperture guys, getting away just a tiny bit, I think, at the front of the field, with Gunnar Nienhuis struggling to keep up. He's a couple of seconds behind Phil Reed, or just over 1 second, I would say. But you can see in the background there, Takash getting pressured by Osterkamp potentially into the chicane. We will see how that works out. It's obviously a very good opportunity for slipstream down this straight, but everyone this straight down this train will have slipstream, of course, on the car in front, so it's going to be hard to get an advantage. Osterkamp not close enough on this occasion, although Takash actually get a very poor exit out of the chicane there, which might give Osterkamp an opportunity down into turn 1. He's going to have the outside line. Oh, never mind. He's just flown straight past him. Not too much trouble there for Osterkamp. As Nolden with another fastest lap.
Yes, Kerry Nolden 1:34 flat, and they could see René Osterkamp capitalising on the poor exit out of the final chicane. A little bit tentative there was Takash there, a little bit worried about the wall of champions, you could arguably say. So there, a bad run out of the exit has cost him one position, actually quite a bit of time as well, as you can see with our aerial coverage here as they head themselves now down in towards the left right. 36 laps of this race, which means your pit stop window could be anything from around lap 14 to what is lap 24 on circuit. Looking at Jannik Nienhuis trying to fight through the field, fighting himself with Evan Imre, goes wide, and he spins it around anyway, does Nienhuis, so it doesn't matter. He tags the wall, he gets some damage on the front wing, and still has to wait as there's another car spinning there. I believe that's Jamie Coldham down the field there with another little spin. Not ideal, but Jannik Nienhuis, his evening goes from bad to catastrophic.
Yeah, not what he would have wanted so far in this race, as the catch has actually repassed Osterkamp now down into the hairpin. A quick work from him to get that position back that he lost. Let's see now then if he can defend this time from Osterkamp and get a good run out of the chicane. Although we now cut on to Gunnar Nienhuis. He's trying, he's desperately as well as he can to keep up with the Aperture boys out in front. He really doesn't want to lose too much ground on them early in the race, because that could just be game over. Oh, and there's the slow car ahead of Mitten. That would be Christian Koch actually. The two Austrians now going into combat into turn 1, and I think it might just be an easy move, similar to what Osterkamp did just on the other side with Mittner with the inside line into turn 1. And Nolden with another fastest lap, Jake. I mean, he is looking so strong in the early part of this race. I mean, there's no wonder he's building a gap in the lead when he's putting in these laps.
Yeah, so you can see right now Evan Imre having a scrap with Richard Grimley in the 789 Kart Squad car. Runs wide as Imre has to come back on circuit there. Very lucky he didn't T-bone the car of Richard Grimley there. Grimley holds position, but Kerry Nolden looks absolutely dominant here so far. He's just sending purple laps after purple laps. And now what has to be said here about what was Christian Koch there, who ran himself a little bit wide, almost tagged the barrier there at the Wall of Champions. Very lucky not to here as we head into the right, into the left, and there's a massive twitch there from Gunnar Nienhuis, who goes all sorts of wide, loses all sorts of time, and now here comes the homeboy, Jean-Francois Godin, on the run down to the hairpin. Will we see a move? He's close, he's looking, but for the time being, it's not quite working out.
Yeah, and what an absolutely amazing save there from Gunnar Nienhuis. Really good job, but obviously cost him a lot of momentum and time to the two Aperture guys that he's been trying to chase down, and now has to focus on trying to keep ahead of Godin, who's closing so fast in the slip jam and is going to grab the inside line for the chicane. Do they dare to go too wide through here? No. Nienhuis backs out of it. He might get a better exit though, with Godin having a tighter line through there, and Gunnar's going to have a chance now to respond in the slipstream once again. Godin not defending, a little bit surprising maybe, but if he does this well, he will get the inside for turn 2, and he does it beautifully around the outside at turn 1. Gunnar tries the same at turn 2, but it's a lot longer way to go around there, and I think Godin might just have this position in the back for now. What a great battle between these two.
Yeah, and it's not over yet. Down to the right-hander and then the left, 3 and 4. And, well, it is now over and done with. Nienhuis will have to wait behind. He's dropped the position then to championship leader Jean-Francois Godin. For Gunnar Nienhuis, it's always been a case of being up there at the beginning, but having some form of problem which has dropped him down the order, and that is what he needs to improve on if he wants to make a title challenge late. But he's still going to have a look right now. He's going to have to do it around the outside here towards turns 8 and 9 here on circuit here. He does have the nose, but it's not going to be close enough, is it? No, it just doesn't materialise here, Fizzy. But they're going to continue to look side by side, but this is allowing Mittner and Koch back into the battle.
Yeah, it really is costing them time to battle. It's obviously great fun to watch. Nienhuis pressuring him once again. Oh, and look how close Michael Mittner gets to the back of him. Luckily, no contact, and they continue on in a 4-way train down the casino straight here at Montreal. Will Gunnar Nienhuis get the slipstream advantage this time? This time Godin does go defensive into the chicane, but can Gunnar get fully ahead into there, or will they be forced to go too wide through the chicane? Here we go. Nienhuis cuts across the front of Godin and gets that position once again, and Godin as a result has been put on the back foot and will be put under pressure from Mittner. Can he make the move, Jake?
Well, that's going to be very interesting. And they can see Leanne Robinson into the wall of champions and joined alongside by, I believe, Andy Cowie as well, side by side into turn number 1 and 2. The Virage Senna, otherwise known as the Senna Bend, doesn't work there for Mittner. Koch now alongside. It's all kicking off right now. To the inside goes Christian Koch, who makes the move sorted down into the 3-4 chicane right now. But that was certainly not what anybody wanted to see. Leanne Robinson tags the Wall of Champions, and it was also followed by Andy Carey, who was trying to recover back up through the field. It's all ended in tears, and nobody ever wants to be in that fabled wall.
Yeah, I'm really loving this four-way battle we got going on there. Obviously, three of these guys being multiple time race winners in this season so far. Christian Koch, the only man so far of these guys to not have won a race so far this season. But that was a very opportunistic, good move for him to take advantage of Mittner's poor exit out of turn 2 and get that position, as we can see, just a field behind them coming through turns 8 and 9 right now. Kerry Nolden, though, still out in front, with Fillerid still actually keeping within a couple of seconds or so behind him. But and you have to remember, actually, with Kerry Nolden, he hasn't won a race since the season opener here at the Spa. So this would be a very, very welcome win if he can pull this off today.
Yes, most certainly. And well, Kerry Nolden here, he has a history with Montreal. He does love Canadian circuits. He's won both times we've gone to Mosport. He's won also at Montreal, and that is René Osterkamp, who has turned himself around down at the Wall of Champions. It has not worked out in the final chicane. He keeps it at the barriers, he keeps it going, and it has not worked out for the Hydroforce man. He drops off the group, and now you have to say this group is starting to get more and more interesting here as they head themselves now towards turn number 3. You can see Christian Koch on the back of his own teammate. Now, Christian Koch has been the big breakout star so far here, Fizzy, because he has shown to everyone exactly how quick he can be in a race. He's shown that he can score podiums, but it's yet to be seen so far if he can score a race win.
Yeah, that is the one thing he's really lacking this season, is come in after the 4th round and shown incredible pace, 3 third place finishes, and just a very solid debut season so far, as Manuel Hoyer gets 2 out of the curb, and there's a big crash there with Chris Robinson not able to avoid him as he tried to catch the car there, and he's going to have to recover. I think Manuel Hoyer has to retire the car back to the pits. Too much damage, and Chris Robinson's going to be struggling as well. Unfortunate for those 2 guys down the order. So we continue on, though, back with a battle, as Nigel Spears' lap down is also having some struggles there on the outside of turn 2. But Zephyr Racing, it'll be interesting to see, Jake, whether these guys will actually go into combat now for this 4th place position, or if they'll work together to try and catch back up to Gunnar Nienhaus.
But it's going to be interesting to see. Gunnar Nienhaus has broken away, and I think there hasn't really been too much fighting there from Jean-Francois Godin, so I have to say he doesn't quite have the pace so far here to match the Carbon Racing outlet right now. Zephyr in a good position constructors-wise, but not as good as Aperture Motorsport, who have got the perfect points at the moment here if they want to mount a charge. Look at Richard Grimley now. Again, Evan Imre behind. Again, you can see behind them as well, you've got the car of Bruno Dometer there in that TDT Racing Ferrari livery right now. Here, as you can see, the run down towards turn 3 and 4. Imre on the inside. Will he get the move sorted? Yes, he does. And Richard Grimley still going to have a look here. Possibly comes Bruno Dometer side by side into the big right-hander, and Dometer gets the move sorted. So, 2 for the price of 1, Fizzy. Yeah,
good battling from these guys as well. Really action-packed all the way down and up the field. Oh, and speaking of action, that's Rick Grimley misjudging the exit, just getting too much understeer out of turn 7 there. Oh, that's a shame for him. After just fighting with Dometer and Imre there, he's going to have his race over on lap 11, or 10 even, as I think the leaders have crossed to start lap 11, and we are now on board with René Osterkamp, who is trying to recover from his spin earlier, where he was lucky to not hit the Wall of Champions. He managed to avoid it, or unlucky, I guess, if you're of the superficial type, but yeah, at least he's trying to recover now, and on the back of, I believe, Fredrik Johansson.
Yes, most certainly behind the 888 Team Tortoise Machine down towards turn number 1. Left-hander it bottlenecks up down into turn number 2 here into the centre bends. And now you can see as they head to the turns 3 and 4 chicane right now. Osterkamp with a little look to the inside saying, I'm there. I can make the move if I want to here. Just trying to harass the back of Fredrik Johansson, but no, not quite happening at the moment. Here's we cut away to lap 12 here, and this is Christian Koch at the moment on the back of his teammate here, looking for the opportunity. Pit stop window opening in just a couple of laps time. You would have to feel to make a reasonably good stop and be still in sort of position. But for the time being, Christian Koch here, Fizzy, he's just going to have to stay behind.
Yeah, or does he? Because he's gaining in the slipstream, but yeah, I think he's just going to be too far back. to mount a challenge on this particular occasion. Will that be the case for René Osterkamp? He's also very close behind Fredrik Johansson. Will it have a dive up the inside? It will indeed. Johansson leaving him a lot of room, but managing to hold on reasonably well right outside, forcing Osterkamp to give momentum, and a little bit of a twitch there on the exit turn to just trying to get as early as possible on the throttle, and he gets that position. That looks like Johansson just backed out a little bit on the run down to the 3-4 chicane. Maybe didn't want to fight that one too hard and think of the long game rather than the immediate fighting there. As in Nolden, again, another fastest lap.
Kerry Nolden 1:33.877. You can see right now, Zephyr Racing line astern. You have to question yourself whether there are any team orders being applied here as they head into the chicane. A lot of curb being taken there by Jean-Francois Godin, and it sacrifices the run. And now they're going to go side by side down the front straightaway. And yes, Christian Koch now will take over that 4th place position. Godin now in a position of 5th, and now looking to try and defend himself behind from the likes of Michael Mittner and Christian Takash, who have ever so slowly started to fall off of this one, Fizzy. Now, I can't help but think that there's been a great pace here set by the Zephyr Racing cars, but right now Michael Mittner needs to be scoring more points here than Jean-Francois Godin, and needs to do so now and start to make the move just before the pit stop window.
Yeah, that is very, very true. He's obviously crucial for the championship with only 3 rounds to go. He's coming into this race, Mittner, with a 17-point deficit to Jean-Francois Godin. It's quite interesting actually, because none of the top 4 in this race at the moment are in the top 5 of the championship. So a pretty big shake-up. We got Osterkamp was 3rd in the championship as well, who was really struggling in this race. So a chance for some of the guys a little bit further back to catch back the likes of Nolden, Reed and Nienaus at the moment. But Godin keeps trying to get the position back from Christian Koch. He's going to have a little peek into the hairpin, forcing Koch into lock-up there. But I think he might have a better run down the straight now with the slipstream.
Yes, most certainly, and for Christian Koch, he's not the only Koch who's successful in racing. Of course, you've got to remember his brother Niels is very, very quick in terms of GT3 racing. There, he was part of the team that won the Nürburgring 24 hours in the Pure Racing Team Outlet. Into the final chicane they come along once again, and a big twitch from Christian Koch this time by as they head themselves now down the front straightaway. And you really do have to feel that Christian Koch here has lost the position here to Jean-Francois Godin. Parity restored as we look at Christian Takash heading himself into turn number 1. Hello, goes himself around 90, 180, 360, goodbye, and he drops himself 2 positions, drops himself behind Lorenda Reich.
Yeah, that is was a very stylish spin, I have to say. He did well to lose as little time as possible once that car had gone around on him, but obviously not what he would have wanted, losing 2 positions there in the process. So Takash, another one who is not quite living up to the pace of what he's done in some of the previous races this season. McLeod, though, we have to say, he's running a very, very solid race. Same for Lauren de Rijk, actually. 2 drivers who have generally been struggling quite a bit this season. Running solidly in the top 10 right now, so good to see for those guys. But we focus back now on the big battle so far in this race. Koch, Godin and Mittner, who is interestingly pulling out of the slipstream completely there down the straight, as the Zephyr guys still try to maybe have a battle. But so far, Koch is too far back.
I can't help but think that Michael Mittner just wants to be out of the way, because here he comes, down into pit lane comes Michael Mittner. Of course, the pit entrance, it's so difficult because it's right on the braking point, and it's so easy just to collect yourself at the wrong possible moment. You can see some lap traffic now coming out of pit lane as well. That's going to cause a little bit of trouble here, there and everywhere. And what has to be said right now, it's now going to be a battle of pit crews. It's going to be about a battle of how quickly you can pull in a lap. And it's all going to be about here, Fizzy, how Michael Mittner can put in a stunning lap on fresh rubber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually think he will be changing tires, because they are very durable here. Well, I'm not completely sure, of course, but it might just cost him a bit too much to change the tires as to whether it'll be worth it, because you don't feel too much of a drop-off on these very durable tires. But fuel would definitely have to be added, and of course it's a very tricky pit entry here, because you go in at such high speed. We're gonna maybe see from Nolan. Here we go, straight into the pits. He has to brake as late as possible to lose the minimal amount of time and slow it down for those yellow cones. And it looked like he was pretty much on the edge there for Nolden, but he did it well, I think, without getting any sort of speeding penalty. Phil Reed, his teammate, follows him as well. And so does Jean-François Godin, the championship leader. So, and not Christian Koch, though. He carries on and will be leading the race for at least one lap.
Yes, most certainly you can see just how quickly Christian Koch is trying to get out and away. Kerry Norden now hits his pit box, hits the fuel, just waits for time here to pass by. It's a quick fuel stop, and he gets back out and away. And is he here? And is he clear? Yes, he is. Kerry Norden then doing everything right and only loses one position in the pit stop window overall. So it just shows you just how much of a gap he starts to pull out. There is Phil Reed just further back in that one there. He comes out in a space all of his own, and you have to say, parity restored. But Jean-François Godin, has he lost the gap here? No, Michael Mittner has not had his gamble pay off.
Yeah, there have been pretty much exactly the same performance through the pit lane there. Mittner just as far back as he was. Obviously, they did have Christian Koch between them, so he's currently in the race. Will presumably go in at the end of this lap, so we'll be very close as to whether he will come out in the middle, because there's not much of a gap anymore between these two. So I have a feeling Koch either will gain a position there and get ahead of Godin, or lose one and be behind Mittner.
Yes, most certainly that seems to be the issue of the day at the moment here. Jean-François Godin through turns 8 and 9 on circuit here. The run down towards the hairpin right now here. And, well, he's pretty much at home. And he'll pretty much know just how important it is as we look at Christian Koch then, heading himself down the back straightaway. Will he come in? Oh, yes, at a rate of knots as well. Hits the brakes hard, and now he heads himself down to pit lane. I just feel he didn't attack that pit lane as much here, Fizzy, and that might just cost him a little bit more time. Yeah,
I completely agree. He did seem to be on the limiter several meters before those yellow cones, so might have just lost a tiny bit of time there, as Kerry Norden, of course, retakes the lead with Phil Reed as well, getting as much as possible slips in from that back marker while getting himself back into second place. But the eyes are on Christian Koch. Where will he come out relative to Jean-François Godin and Michael Mittner? They are coming into turn number 1 right now, and we'll be seeing Godin will be seeing his teammate on pit exit. There he is, and he's lost out, has Christian Koch, just as we suspected, with that slightly slow pit entry there. He's behind Michael Mittner now and down in 6th place.
Yeah, there you can see Christian Koch has lost all that time, but I couldn't help but notice here, Fizzy, looking at the cockpit movements there of Phil Reed, that he had his wheel lurching a little bit to the left-hand side. Now that indicates there is a little bit of damage, and if it's lurching to the left-hand side, that might indicate that he might just have tapped somewhere along the lap the wall of champions. And well, he is a driver's champion. He is the retaining champion at the moment, and that could be oh so crucial in the latter laps to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that something always might have happened off the camera, of course. It's hard to catch every single thing that goes on, and if Phil Reed does have damage, then it'll be a case of trying to manage the gap to Gunnar Nienaus, I guess, and try to avoid further mistakes in this race. Luckily, he managed to build a pretty solid gap in the early part of this race, so he has something to go on there. But yeah, something not ideal for him if he's going to have to carry damage for the remainder of this race.
Lorenzo Reich here on lap 25 of 36 here. He finds himself 10th, chasing down Ty McLeod right now here in that Hydroforce Racing outlet here. And well, you can see right now exactly how important it is, but Ty McLeod's going to go 180. He's going to lose everything that he tried to do, and actually, well, we are going to get that a little bit wrong. We don't really, well, actually did get it right there. Graphic a little bit wrong there, because that was René Osterkamp who he's actually trying to chase down right now, which shows you just how important it is. Lorenzo Reich, he is really trying to chase down an incredibly quick driver, and his season has been horrible so far here, Fizzy, and he's looking to try and make that recovery.
Yeah, that's very true. He's had such a solid drive so far today. He's 23rd position in the championship is Lorenzo Reich. He's only finished, 4 races in the points this season so far. Not quite as bad this season as Ty McLeod, though, who's had only 1 point finish, I believe, so far this season. So, unfortunately for him, he had that spin, but still scoring top 10 as it stands. Look at actually on with Robert Plumley, who's closed the gap. He was quite far behind Knut Martinsen before the pit stop window, but he's now right on him. So maybe another battle developing in the latter stages.
Yes, they can see Kinducci versus Force Fizzy, and that's going to be one that you need to pay very close attention to later on. Right now, we got ourselves 11 laps to go. The leaders have crossed the line. These guys have 12 to go, 11 when they will cross the line. And well, now you can see just how long that back straight is. One of the longest regulated back straights that you can have in all of what is Formula 1. Of course, around a mile is about the limit that you get on a long straight. And well, you can see right now here just how important it is to be up there fighting. And well, Robert Plumley's biding his time, Fizzy. He's just waiting for that moment to strike. The game of cat and mouse, playing the chess, is certainly starting to take effect.
Yeah, and interestingly, I'm just looking at the championship table, and these guys are 2 points apart in the championship as Plumley puts a wheel on the grass there in the braking zone. Definitely not what you want to do. Oh, there's a car! Oh, they've had to avoid a stranded North Atlantic racing car then in the middle of the track. Martinsen lost some speed because of that. Luckily, both of them managed to get through there without being caught up. And Plumley has to settle behind after a little bit of a challenge to go around the outside there. But that was a close call.
Most certainly it was, and well, you have to say, what was that car doing there? It doesn't really matter, but parity is still restored right now with Robert Plumley behind. He is looking for that opportunity to find his way through. Not quite happening at the moment here as you look at them battle down to the hairpin. We've stayed an entire racing lap with these guys, and it just shows you here, this is a battle for 12th place. You look at Martinsen and what he's been doing in the last season. He was up there fighting for podiums. He was there, I remember, Interlagos, first race, or possibly second. He was there fighting for a second place finish. It just seems that he hasn't gelled as well as you would have liked into this Formula Renault as he looks under threat from Plumley now, heading to the outside into what is the final chicane.
When they're gonna go side by side through the chicane, this is gonna be so close. Plumley hugging that curb and losing some speed as a result of it. Martinsen hanging around the outside there on the exit of the chicane. That was fantastic from both these guys. Close and hard racing, and Martinsen just about holding on to that one somehow. As we got more battling further down the field with Kessler attacking. Oh, and they're actually attacking Saltalamacchia, and they're just in front of the battle with Godin, and they're going to be caught up in it as well. Godin having to go completely off throttle there, which is going to put him on the attack from Mittner and Christian Koch. They're going to be 3 wide. Here, Jake, down towards the hairpin.
Absolutely fantastic here. 3 wide, Talladega-esque. Down on the brakes they go, and Mittner's going to lose out. But now you're going to see the Zephyr boys 2 wide, down the front straight away. It's all starting to pick up, and Jean-Francois Godin has lost the position to his teammate Christian Koch for the moment. But what has to be said is that was all down to the traffic not paying attention behind them, but battling. That was Kessler and Saltalamacchia. That was all wrong, but Godin coming back on the brakes. Down into the right left, makes the move sorted, and now you look at Christian Koch, who's in all sorts of trouble here, because you look, Michael Mittner stalking his prey as he moves to the inside for turn number 1 on circuit. Will he get the move sorted? Answer is, it's not decisive yet, but no. But you have to say, the traffic were being a little bit misbehaved.
Yeah. That was some close racing, but yeah, the traffic, I mean, as Plumley is all over the place trying to get another way past Martins now. Can he defend into the chicane this time? Yeah, Plumley is not having another side-by-side action through there. But yeah, the traffic, I mean, that's a difficult part when you're catching up to lapped cars when they are battling with each other. Because, of course, Kessler was just in the process of passing Saltalamacchia, lost the back end. I mean, a driver mistake, but when it happens just in front of cars on lead lap, then obviously it creates big problems.
Yes, most certainly here. This battle still continuing on here. Lap 28 out of a possible 36 right now. You can see just how important it is to keep yourself calm, keep yourself cool. Plumley hasn't really made the move decisive yet. Here as we look at Phil Reed, and actually Phil Reed starting to be caught in here by Gunnar Nienhaus. We were talking about the damage earlier on to his car. It doesn't look like there's too much. It might be that the rear suspension is starting to struggle here. And actually, you can see just how much he struggles here. He drops the chicane, and that's going to force him to take a slow down penalty here. He's going to drop all that time. There's a Team Tortoise car who's also struggling with the same sort of problem. And now Gunnar Nienhaus takes 1, takes 2, and he moves up into second place. And Phil Reed really now on the cusp of danger.
Yeah, Phil Reed reminding me there of Kerry Nolan back in Season 3 in the Pro Master when he did that exact cut on the chicane twice in the race. Oh, atomic lead! Oh, he's got to just tap the wall there. I think he just got away with that one, barely without any damage, and still in 10th position somehow. So very, very lucky there, atomic lead. Very big scare. And speaking of scares, another close call, another slight tap with the wall. Chris Robinson as well. So So drivers losing concentration maybe a little bit towards the end of the race here. We are, after all, 29 laps into this race.
Yes, most certain. You can see just now just how the concentration's starting to go. Plumley to the outside, dupes him. Has to go to the outside this time by into turn number 1. And now you can see just how important it is. Inside for 2. They're going to remain side by side. But I think Martinsen took too much of a wide berth there. And he's gone and lost it. He's lost the position here in the battle for 12th. This is a real scrap down the field here. And what has to be mentioned here right now, Plumley right now is off the back of a career best 5th place finish. You think the confidence is up, and that's going to make Martinsen's life here, Fizzy, a lot worse.
Oh, maybe not, because he's just lost the back end there, is Plumley. Just as he said that, maybe a bit of confidence curse there kicking in. But these guys are going to keep battling, of course, with 6.5 laps remaining in this race. And quite interestingly, you touched on a bit previously that Martinsen maybe not quite getting up to speed with this new Formula Renault compared to the Star Master, whereas I think Plumley might have just gone the other way around. I mean, they've suddenly come closer on pace, those two drivers, with Plumley gaining a bit of speed and Martinsen maybe losing a bit of speed in this new car. So very interested to see how close they are in the championship as well. But now we are focusing back on the battle with Michael Mittner and Christian Koch. It seems to be going on all race between these two. Gudjin has pulled out a little bit of a gap now for the first time in a while, as we now have another close battle, and Takash is going to lose the back end once again. This time he does save it, but drops a position to René Osterkamp.
Yeah, pressure telling there on Christian Takash. The Red Devolution racing car there hasn't worked out. Of course, Manchester based after the Salford Red Devils. And well, now Red Devolution racing starting to fall down the field once again. Now down into 8th is Christian Takash. It has not been his race. He has not got the pace that he had when he took pole position at the first race of the season. Now, Lorenda Reich is going to be looking a little bit hungrier after seeing that mistake. Puff of smoke on the brakes there, locking up the front tyres. And now down this back straightaway, you can see what's going on. But still, Robert Plumley looking here, Fizzy, as he looks to the inside with 3 laps to go, 4 laps to go even. It's still not happening for him.
Yeah, no idea how Martinsen's hanging on there. And just look at the better exit that Plumley's getting. He's going to have a much better run down into the hairpin. But once again on the wrong side, Martinsen's taking every defensive opportunity he can. And Plumley's going to try to cut back on the exit and get a better run. Maybe try and cut into the slipstream just about. No, he's far enough ahead to not need the slipstream even. He's going to claim that inside line as we run the long straight flat out down towards the chicane. And will it be another side-by-side moment through there for these guys? Roles reversed with Plumley now on the right, Martinsen on the left into it. Martinsen braking just a tiny bit later. Plumley hugging the first curb very hard this time, and still somehow has to stay behind.
Yeah, but it's not going to be over yet, because you've got to remember, turn number 1's there. Of course, if this was Formula 1, 2 DRS overtaking opportunities. None here, around the outside at turn number 1. Inside for 2. It's going to be a repeat of what we've seen before, but a lot tighter goes Martinsen now, and will cause more troubles down towards the turn 3, turn 4 hairpin right now. You can see Plumley still having to run a defensive line, but he gets the move sorted, or does he? Trying to cut back? No, not going to happen. Still looking here at turn numbers 5, and then you've got to look at 6 and 7 here. The next chicane that's going to come up. Oh, well, it's still not quite happening here for Martinsen. He'll have to wait behind, but now a poor run here, Fizzy. And well, now you can see just how crucial it is. They're side by side once again as they head for 8-9 down the Pont de la Concorde.
Tricky braking zone under the bridge now. Who can brake later? Martinsen just about on the inside. Plumley leaving him room to avoid an incident, and that's still fantastic racing between these two guys. And Martinsen's back ahead. I mean, this battle will surely carry on all the way until the flag, as we only have 3 laps to go in this race, and it's been a fantastic race so far, you have to say. I mean, maybe apart from Nolden, right out in the lead, it's been battling up and down the field, and now we are looking at Gudjin, who is really closing in on Phil Reed actually here, Jake.
Yes, he is, and well, when they cross the line, it's going to be 1 more lap to go. Jean-Francois Gudjin is closing in on Phil Reed. I think Reed is really struggling on the brakes. You can see just how much time he's gaining here, and now you can see the run down the back straightaway. I think he's in slipstream range, and this is going to be a big problem here for Phil Reed. He is going to be under so much pressure to head on. Nolden starts his final lap here. He's just got himself around Bruno Dometer, I think that is. He's just got past there in lap traffic, but he has been out and away, and sorry for the sponsors, but he has found himself in all shapes here as Martinsen runs himself over the curb, drops himself some time. He was breaking away, And here comes Robert Plumley down the inside, which will turn to the outside for the hairpin. Doesn't matter because he's made the move stick before the hairpin has come along. Fantastic work from the Kinduchi racing driver, who is really showing what he is made of, how he can scrap. But look at how that gap's closed. Godin is right in range here, into turn 3, into turn 4, and now he doesn't have to make this move. Phil Reed's not really challenging for the title. The only person he really needs to worry about is Kerry Nolden, so that's why he's probably thinking of a podium, thinking of that champagne, into 6, into 7. Now you can see the run starting to take effect. And now Phil Reed's going to be under a little bit of pressure here. Now you can see here, he goes hard to the inside, trying to defend it. They're going to go side by side into 8 and 9 and on the brakes. And well, Phil Reed's going to run a little bit wide. There's contact between the two. Not once, but twice. Godin taps the wall, Reed turns it around, gets it into that reverse gear, tries to turn it around once again. Trying to get it. Oh no! He's contact with Mittner as well. It's all ended in tears on the final lap. And well, you have to say, someone's got to look at this. Someone's got to see exactly what's gone on. But Kerry Nolden drives for the line and takes the race win here at Montreal. It's been so uneventful, but it's all kicked off in the final lap. Nienhouse second, and Jean-Francois Godin for the time being will take third. But what will the stewards think of this one, Fizzy?
Yeah, that was absolute unbelievable scenes at the final lap there. Godin tapping the back of Reed as he went wide through 8 and 9, and then Reed rejoining on the racing line right ahead of Michael Mittner. That is two pieces of things that the stewards will need to have a look at. Koch coming on in 4th at the moment. René Osterkamp 5th across the line ahead of Takash, and there we have Laurent de Rijk, a very good 7th place for him across the line as well, with Ty McLeod as well. A good day in the cockpit for him, taking home 9th, and very, very happy with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very happy with his finish here in 9th, and there's Frederick Johansson. Look at Phil Reed here. Just look at how he is crabbing down that back straight, that front straight even. You can see wheel wrenched hard to the right-hand side. He has got some massive damage on his car. And well, now you can see as he crosses the line eventually in 11th, he is really, really upset. He had a podium in his hands. He had 2nd place, a 1-2 in his hands. There you can see Martinsen coming across the line, loses out in the end to Robert Plumley, but that was some final lap of the race. That was something to remember. Kerry Nolden, he has won this one thoroughly. His 2nd race win after his return, and it's a thorough return to the top step of the podium after what has been so many traumas. But we can now run you through your classified results. And well, it's going to be Kerry Nolden who takes a pole position, a fastest lap, a clean race, and gets the maximum 35 points that he so richly deserves. Gunnar Nienhouse will come home in 2nd. Christian Koch elevated to 3rd. Osterkamp elevated to 4th. Takash elevated to 5th. 10-second time penalty for Jean-Francois Godin drops him down to 6th. And that could have implications later on in the championship fight to remember. So keep that one in mind. Laurent de Rijk there in 7th. Michael Mittner 8th. Ty McLeod finishing off in 9th place, with Frederick Johansson rounding out the top 10 for Team Tortoise, nearly a minute down on your eventual race winner. Now you can see onto your 2nd page we head along. Phil Reed will be very disappointed with 11th place after being in the podium slot for the final lap. And well, news coming in on his front is that he has a qualifying ban for the next race at Brands Hatch, so he must start from the back of the grid, and that's going to hurt his chances. Fantastic battle between Plumley and Martinsen, with Plumley edging that one out. Bruno Dometer first of the cars, 1 lap down. Evan Imre, Chris Robinson, Vittorio Satalamakea also a lap down, with Janik Nienhouse as well, the other Carbon Racing driver. And then you can see cars who are 3 laps down and further, Lionel Alberto, Nigel Spears. But moving on onto that final page, you can see just how much it hurts these drivers. Patrick Kessler, Swiss superstar, struggling there today. Same for Steve Kagerer. Coldham didn't finish, nor did Grimley. White, Manuel Hoyer didn't get to finish either. Leon Robinson, Andy Cowie, and also Christoph Leister failing to make it through what was the first few laps. But we can move ourselves now to some driver interviews, and bringing us in the commentary box now is your race winner, and his name is Kerry Nolden. Joining us in the commentary box at this time then is Kerry Nolden here, your race winner here at Montreal. Kerry, lights to flag, started on pole, fastest lap, perfect race weekend.
Yeah, perfect. All race long really. The practice on Thursday looked good, and the practice just before the session before the race was pretty good as well. Qualifying, I knew there was a couple of attempts in hand as well, so was pleased to get the lap in as well. And then yeah, perfect start as well. Phil got up to second, and I held on to first, and yeah, it was just flawless all the way through. No complaints.
No complaints at all. And well, actually, big news coming in from your teammate is that penalty not just for him but for Jean-Francois Godin as well on the final lap. What's your views on the incident that's happened? Because it does affect you in the team's championship as well as keeps yourself in the drivers' championship, albeit barely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to focus too much on the other guys' races. Obviously, it's a shame that Phil didn't bring home the 1-2 because it was looking good for 3/4 of the race, and then it kind of fell apart for him. Yeah, and it was just one of those things, really. Not much more to say on it, really. Obviously, it helps me a tiny bit, but it's still a long way away. I need another 2 races that were just like today to even stand a chance, and then results still need to fall in my favour. So yeah, just waiting to see how that all goes. But for me, it's just to focus on my own stuff here in these last 2 races.
Yes, of course, Brands Hatch next circuit for you, and the last time you were at Brands Hatch, you were involved in one of the biggest incidents that AOR has ever seen. Are you hoping for a good race result here? Of course, you do have a good love affair with British tracks after all.
Thanks for reminding me of that incident. Yeah, it wasn't a great day at Brands Hatch, but I had great pace on that day. Generally have had good pace at Brands Hatch as well in the past in the Star Mazda. Different car, of course, here. But yeah, I mean, it all fell into place here at Montreal, so why not be competitive at Brands Hatch as well? Donington, we were good, and I imagine the setup will be quite similar at Brands Hatch. So yeah, I'm expecting a good race. It'll be difficult. There's going to be a lot of people crashing out. It's such a difficult circuit to drive. But yeah, I mean, for me, just focus on my pace, and let's just see what happens when qualifying takes place, because that'll be pretty important, I think, this week.
Most certainly will be. The king of starts, Kerry Nolden here. He gets himself a race win here at Montreal. Thank you for joining us from Aperture Motorsport.
Thanks.
Joining us in the commentary box now is Gunnar Nierenhaus. Gunnar, a second place finish for you today. With the run into the end of the season with 2 races to go, is that the result you were looking for?
Yeah, definitely on the track like Montreal. It's a very hard track, so I'm really happy with second place. It was all about the consistency, and Phil made some mistakes right in front of me, so I was able to take second place. Really happy with it. Really
happy indeed. Of course, you qualified on the front row, and well, your start didn't go according to plan. You dropped positions to both A, Phil Reed, and B, Jean-Francois Godin as well. Was it easy to get yourself back past? Was it a challenge for you in the early stages of the race?
Well, right at the start, Phil came right beside me, and I thought I didn't want to put up a fight with him, just take it easy, follow him, and then I made another mistake, and Jean-Francois put right beside me and also overtook me. It was actually pretty easy to get right back at JF. I was a bit quicker than him. It was actually really hard to catch up on Phil. It was only until he made a mistake and had some damage that I drove right to him and was able to overtake him.
Overtake indeed, and well, 2 races to go, of course, in the season, and well, Brands Hatch will certainly be a circuit which you will be very firmly with your eyes on. Are you gearing up for next season now? Do you think that your title hunt is pretty much all but over?
Yeah, it's over. It's definitely over. I think Jeff will take it in Brands Hatch. I will do my best to make it as hard as possible for him, but my eyes are on next season for sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Gunnar there. That is a second place for you at Carbon Racing. Well, great job today here from the circuit of, when it comes to me once again,
Montreal.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Joining us at this time is Christian Koch. Christian, it's never ideal to be inherited third place, especially from your own teammate, but a podium's a podium, and it's your 4th third place of the season. How are you feeling?
Yeah, hi Jake. Yeah, mixed feelings. I think the race was pretty amazing. A lot of things happened. Huge fights until for the whole race with Michael and Jean-Francois. But getting a podium with an incident and with a penalty is especially with the teammate, mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings indeed, and well for you. Your story was summed up with a fantastic charge through the field. Of course, who can forget your double overtake after backmarker incidents getting involved? Are you okay with backmarkers generally? Because it seems that quite a few times this season backmarkers have got involved and disrupted quite a few fights.
Yeah, well, I think it's part of racing. I kind of really like the diversity of the strength of the field. So everything comes together. You have to be aware of different things, and backmarkers are a part of that. So it's okay from my side, absolutely.
Absolutely it is, but for you, of course, we've got 2 races to go, Brands Hatch next, and then following that into Lagos. You're not too far still behind in the Team's Championship. Do you expect to pick up the Team's Championship from here? It's going to be a long, hard struggle, though.
Yeah, if we could, if Jean-François and me could attend to both of the races, there might be a chance. But I probably missed the next race at Brands Hatch. And I think Jean-François is probably missing the last race, so I don't think that we have a big chance to taking the team championship, unfortunately.
Unfortunate it is indeed, but a 4th, 3rd place finish for Christian Koch here for Zephyr Racing.
Thanks.
Let's take a look then at your Drivers' Championship right now, and Jean-François Godin, gap is 21 points at the moment, but drop weeks applied, it opens up to 25, with him being just that little bit more consistent than Michael Mittner. There you can see Rene Osterkamp, quiet race again from him there, but scoring consistent points, now finds himself 1 point behind Michael Mittner overall, but finds himself 5 points ahead on drop weeks. And there you can see now, drivers starting to struggle with their drop weeks. Takash, Nienhouse now, trying to put himself into the fray. Nolden back in the championship fight. Andy Cowie struggling today. He will now put himself down the order and possibly out of a fight. Phil Reed will be very disappointed with what result came today, and also what result happened with the stewards also. There you can see Leon Robinson Knight. Christian Koch is showing his talent. He's now up into the top 10 once again, and now looking onto that second page, there you can see Johansson, Martinsen, Robert Plumley, Evan Imre not having the best of races today. He finished a lap down, not ideal, and well, there you can see Lorenda Reich finally scoring some fantastic points, puts himself up onto the second page, jumps Janik Nienhouse, and that has been over half the points he's scored all season long. Looking onto that third page there, and there you can see the likes of Alexander Van Rompuy, who hasn't returned. Ty McLeod, he gets some well-deserved points. He moves now up onto 18, jumps the likes of Saltalamakia, Hoyer, Van Humen. He's done everything he needs to do. And there you can see the final page coming up on your screen. Just look at just how these guys are playing themselves out in that respect. But now looking onto your team's championship, you can see LM Rennsport 25 points to lead now compared to Zephyr. Aperture back in the fight on 311, but still find themselves 50 points back with 2 races to go. And boy, just how crucial will that be? We're certainly going to look at that battle very closely in the coming weeks. And well, now you look at that, Hydroforce and Carbon, 217 meets 184. Team Tortoise get leapfrogged, so do Red Devolution Racing. Robinson Racing there in 8th, LM Racing 9th. Kinducci round out the top 10 once again. And there you can see, second page, Force Fisi there on 103 points there. Rich Racing starting to climb back up again. They now move up to 14th, jumping the Team One Line outfit of Lionel Alberto. There you can see Avid Chronic, N Racing, Vormapart, Emdar, the Kart Squad. Shame they didn't get any points, and also DNA SRG at the back. But 2 races to go, and it's going to be one of the classics. We're heading to Brands Hatch, and if something has to be remembered about Brands Hatch here, Fizzy, you're laughing about it because you know exactly what I'm going to say. It has a cause for incidents. You got to remember Season 2. There was a massive crash towards the back of the field. You got to remember Season 3 and the Govan Gate incident.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to forget those, isn't it? It's always been it's incident packed at the start of the Brands Hatch races, and I mean, I'm hoping that for once we can have an incident-free start of the race, so that we have a lot of cars fighting it out throughout the whole thing. But you never know. Anything can happen at Brands Hatch, as we've seen in the past. So yeah, Godin also can win the championship next time out. Forget not. So we will see how that turns out.
We will see how that turns out indeed, most certainly. But for the time being, that has been Fisi. I've been Jake Sparey, and after all of this, Jean-Francois Godin could have had an easier time, but the penalty has arrived for Brands Hatch, and now he's got to bounce back and smell that sweet, sweet victory. Good night.